So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me for the conference that arranged in Amsterdam. My name is Assistant Professor Dr. Patama Satawedin. I'm currently the director of the master programs in Master of Communication Arts programs in Digital Marketing Communications, Bangkok University, Thailand. Design thinking, why it matters for the education, as you can see on the screen, is going to be the topics that I would like to deliver for you today because I found it interest. So the agenda that I would like to include in my talk for today, there will be like four agenda, four things altogether that I would like to propose to you. So first of all, what is design thinking? Basically, in order to understand like the brief or the basic idea of what is design thinking, and also about like the process, the main process of the design thinking. Then I will explain the reasons why I propose the design thinking for this talk, and especially why design thinking is very important for the educations. And then move on to like the real case that I provide from my own experience, my teaching experience that I apply like the design thinking to be used in my class in the educations. And last but not least is about the futures of the design thinking in educations. So I shall start with, the design thinking. What is it about? So the design thinking is actually is about, turning some kinds of the research into some kinds of the solutions by basing on understandings about, the people's needs and wants. So the design thinking is, in short, it could be said that it just, turn a people-centric or human-centric problems challenge into a possible solutions. Okay. There will be like 5 main stages altogether for the design thinking. Start with empathize. The empathy is understanding like the people's needs and wants, understanding like the consumer and the customers' pain points or the unmet needs. What is actually like the wants and needs that the consumer, customers, or even like the peoples are looking for. And then in terms of like the define, the second stage. So when you collect the data, you understand about the, the people's needs and wants already. So then you are able to define and specify like what is like the problems that the people's faced and needs to be solved. So after that, in the next stage, it's going to be fun for this stage because you can be able to throw your ideas. Is like the idea stage. So you can propose address possible solutions. You have to use, a varieties of way in order to make the discussions. You can use like the brainstorm. You can use like, the post-it activities in order for, a particular a particular students to pose their idea while using like the post-it. Gather it all together, discuss it, and then find out like what is like the best solutions in this circumstance in order to, to be used. And then after that, in order to know whether or not, the solutions that you have created works or not, you have to have got like what is called like a prototype. And then the prototype, it could be, the product, it could be like the campaign, it could be tangibles, products, and it could be like even like the ideas as well. So you develop a prototype in the fourth stage. And then in the final stage, when you got the prototypes, then you can test it to know whether or not it works well or it works like effectively. So testing the possible solution if it works well or effectively. So these are like the five stages for the design thinking. Empathize, define, idea, prototype, test, training, the research, the data that you have collect into something new, into something innovative, into something special, and fit well with that circumstances. Then in terms of like why design thinking should be proposed for educations and why I see that, design thinking should be used in our teaching approach as a teaching approach. I would propose, the reasons and rationals and divide it into like two main things, two main perspectives. The first one is for educational institute, and the second one is for the students per se. So as for like the educational institute, as there will be like five main things or five main reasons why I found that design thinking should be proposed in education. First of all, it helps a lot. Design thinking helps develop a strategic and flexible way for thinking out of the box. So creative thinking is very important in this case, and for finding out a new educational solutions. And please be reminded that design thinking highlight this part. I think everything is possible. The second one, design thinking, also helps responding to the ever-changing needs and wants of the students as the clients, and also, for helping the students as well in order to respond to the needs and the wants of the people, of the customers, and also the clients in the future. Thirdly, design thinking help improve active and interactive learning, because the students have to actively find out, like conduct the research, collect the data, find out like the solutions. They have to be like learn actively, and not just only improving like the active and interactive learning. The design thinking could help build up or maintain like a very good relationship between not just only the instructors and also the students, but also among the students as well. And then in relations to that, finally, the design thinking helps change the roles of the instructors, of the teachers, in order to teach, in order to give to some data, some information to the students. But it turned, the roles from the instructor, from the teachers, into like the coach. The coaching means that you help the students by guiding them, asking them like questions in order for the students to think themselves and provide and think a little bit further. So these are like the five things that I think that the design thinking, the main five things that the design thinking could provide and helps improving the educational institute. And if you can see like on the right-hand side, it's like the trends of the design thinking that required by the jobs. And it indicates the more importance of the design thinking, especially in the educational institute. I received this one from MC Burning Glass 2021 that is proposed by Hans in 2022 and also Code as well in 2022. If you can see from this trend from December 2016 and to December 2020, which is the current one, you can see like slightly increase and also some fluctuations you can see from this trend. But at the end, you can see like, the design thinking is likely to be, to increased in terms of its necessities and also importance. Not only this, the design thinking also important for students as well. Two main things that I have found from my own experience. The first one, the design thinking needs some necessary skills, 21st century skills, important skills that really important for use for their daily life and also their future lives, the career paths. So the design thinking helps improve the important skills like, for example, analytical thinking skills, strategic thinking skills, risk-taking skills, management skills, creative thinking, problem-solving skills, competence that leads to, the greater and better and more innovative outputs and outcomes for the brands, educational institutes, and also for the clients as well. Likewise, more important than that, I think creative thinking could help improve several important mindset, especially growth mindset. That the fixed mindset and the growth mindset that developed by Carol Dweck. But I think, the design thinking could help a lot in terms of like the growth mindset. And not only this, is about the attitudes about, failing fast, daring to think, or doing something new and innovative and the like. If you see like on the left hand side, once again that I received these informations from MC Burning Glass 2021 that address Enhanced 2022 and also in Coding 2022 as well. They provide and the details that the design thinking needs, the very important skill, the two sides of the skill, soft skills and also hard skills. Why they are doing or practicing like the design thinking. The examples of the soft skills could be communications, innovations, leaderships, research, management, presentations, sales, problem solving, operations, and consulting. As for like the hard skill, in contrast, the needs like the agile management, the needs like the user experience, user interface, like the strategic planning and strategic thinking, and the product management and the like. So these could be like the two sides, and also the main reasons of why I would like to focus my talk today and would like to propose that, the educational institute should equip and also fulfill the students with, the design thinking idea. Then I shall move on to the things, my real experience that I produce and apply the design thinking in my teaching, in my coaching, in my educations. So I start doing that by I assign the students with a project through the ideas of the project-based learning. So they got like some kinds of the project. Then for sure, according to the 5 stage of the design thinking, they have to be able to empathize and also define the problems of the peoples, of the customers, of the consumers, of what they want and what they need. So for sure, they have to conduct the research and collect the data to understand and define the unmet needs and the pain points through a variety of qualitative and quantitative research methods. And then why they are doing this in the first stage? Of course, they have to face the problems. I wouldn't say that just only like the first stage that they have faced with the problems or encounter the problems. Why they are in this process, in this learning process, using like the design thinking. They always, meet and encounter with the, unexpected challenge. But that one could help them a lot in terms of improving their skills and their mindset. But anyway, as for like the first stage that they have to collect the data, the problems that the students, they normally come to see me as a coach. And then they would say that, for example, how should I find out the data appropriately? Okay. Unfortunately, I can't find out like the data, or even like I found out that, and then just provide me like the raw data. This could be like the basic challenge or the basic questions that the students normally ask me. Of course, I do not provide them like, you have to do this and this and this, but I would address or raise the questions of, okay, in your thought, in your mind, in your perspective, what should be, the research methods, or what should be like the things that you are going to do or planning to do in order to know exactly about, the unmet needs of the peoples. You can do like the market research in order to know exactly about the problems that they have faced. Or if they present like just raw data, then I would suggest them in order to think further, think beyond, the raw data that they just present in order to figure out like, the new or the unexpected solutions that they can use as the new ideas or the new possible solutions. Just imagine that, okay, the students could pass that, process, the first and the second process. They know exactly what the consumers and the customers want. Then it comes to like the next stage. It's like create, provide, ideate, and explore the possible solutions. It's a real fun stage. Even though once again, the students have got like the problems like, okay, there are several possible solutions and blah, 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 blah. What should I do? That is, I said, this is just, very, very interesting stage. And it requires a lot of, skills that the students have to use, especially like analytical skills. They have, because I believe that they're going to explore with, the several possible solutions. And they have to discuss with their colleagues, with their friends, in order to find like the best but possible solutions. Like for example, they got like choice one, choice A, choice B, choice C. And they have to find out like, okay, what is like the benefits, advantage, and also the disadvantage of a particular choice. They have to make like the comparisons between the choice and consider which choice could be the best one in this circumstance, in this phenomenon. And then if they can find out like, okay, the possible solutions already, they comes up with the to create the prototypes and then test it in order to see like the effectiveness of that prototype. And what else, if they got like the problems in terms of like the prototypes of the testing it, evaluating it, then what is like the next stage that they have to develop? What is like the next stage that they have to fulfill such kinds of the prototypes? For sure, the problems happens again. The students will come to me as a coach to say, these solutions and prototype doesn't work well. So how should I do? Yes, what should you do? What do you think? What is your thought? What is your perspective? Any other ways that you think that it could help develop the prototypes in order to work well? Or even they say that it doesn't work, I think I will quit. But I would say, oh no, no, no. So this is just like the small problems that you have faced. But think about that if you in your daily life, in your work, if you have faced with, the other bigger problems, what should you do? So it means that you have to fight for it. And I would ask them to think further as well. So they will finally say that, okay, but if I do this, is it possible? The answers will be about, asking them to make the discussions, make the comparison, or even make the judgment based on the reasons and the rationals that they have got in their hands. So in this case, you can see just, the brief, kind of the brief examples, but you can see that the design thinking is very important and it could be applicable for your daily life and also for your future life as well, your working life as well. So at the end, this is the process by applying design thinking into like, my teaching experience. What I can see, not only like, improving and enhancing the skills, soft skills and the hard skills of the students. But more important than that, what I said, and what I would like to highlight is about the growth mindset that provided by the Carol Dweck. And what I have found so far from the students by, after applying the design thinking. It's about the challenge is the best chance in the life. Problems are able to be reached, and I can do everything that I want. Where there is a will, there is a way. And also new solution is really fun, and so forth. So I would like to end up my talk for today and leave these two things with you. To say about like the futures of the design thinking in educations. And I think educational institutes should apply the design thinking into the considerations, into like the practice, in the real practice. So the world is more and more challenging and threatening. So a new, innovative, and possible solutions must always be created and developed. And also, and for sure, that needs the graduates and the potential students who are armed and fulfilled with not only, the IQ, intelligence quotients, but also the emotional quotients or EQ. So value could be given added for the students at educational institute and brand for sure. These are like the reference that I have used for my talk. And then thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you. Bye-bye.